The Corporate Apothecary. Now in this talk, I go into an area that has often been seen as dangerous or risky or, quite frankly, against the law. But let me take you back a few years to where I had my first experience of drugs. When I was 16, I lived in the central belt of Scotland in an area called Lanarkshire, and like many people my age, I got a job. And I got a job in an ice cream van. And I worked in that ice cream van maybe 2 or 3 days a week for a few months. But I noticed that the ice cream cones were quite expensive, and I couldn't quite work out at first why. Now I was quite young and I was also pretty naive. And I eventually discovered that what was happening was I'd become an accidental drug dealer because the chap in the ice cream van had actually been selling marijuana and acid tabs inside the cones. And I was quite shocked and horrified by this, and I quite quickly got out of that ice cream van and went off to university and never had any other contact with drugs thereafter. However, in the last few years, things have started to happen around the corporate world that has brought that story back to my memory. And if I was to say to you that there was something that you could do that could help your focus, your performance, your mental health, your energy, etc., would you be interested? Well, there are a number of things that are currently being researched and looked into that can actually achieve all these things. Believe it or not, one of the things that was just published last week, it's quite interesting. One of the things that can improve your focus and your performance is sex, but we better not go into that today. The other thing that you will have heard of, I'm sure, is this notion of mindfulness. And in the talk, I will go into mindfulness, I will talk about meditation, and I will talk about how to do it, and demonstrate why it's something that everyone can achieve with the right coaching and the right help. However, the third thing that I talk about in this keynote is something that I call performance-enhancing drugs at work. Now, this sounds scary and worrying and something that no organisation would take part in at all. But this topic is becoming more and more visible with every day that passes. If I told you that a significant proportion of kids in America are already self-medicating with drugs that help their focus, help their perception and help their ability to study for longer periods, would you be interested? If I told you that a lot of kids in the United Kingdom are doing the same thing, would you be interested? Well, this is actually happening. And this group of drugs is collectively known as nootropics. And nootropics are fundamentally drugs that act as vitamins for your brain. In this keynote, I'll explain what these are, whether they're safe or not, where the research is, but I will also talk about what I think is coming in the workplace. There might be an opportunity there for organisations to do something that they would never have dreamt of doing, and that's to become an apothecary.